Welcome to the Angry Microwave podcast. I'm Callum, I'm the editor.
And I'm Andrew, I'm a friend of the website.
I'm a podcast.
Yes.
Anything else you're a friend of? Are you friends to anyone else?
I'm a friend of Callum's, and I've got friends in real life as well.
Well, he says he is. I'm joking. So, welcome again. So we're now on iTunes before we start. You can find us on iTunes, video on YouTube, and something else we'll talk about in our last topic. So that's a tease. So you can either skip ahead, but don't skip ahead. I'm not doing too well.
Skip right to the end.
Don't. So our first topic is Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
I didn't do a segue that time.
Cool.
Dead silence.
Editing some crickets.
And a hay-ball going past there. So this is the Breaking Bad spinoff. That is it about a year and a half now since Breaking Bad finished.
Yeah.
And it's
a big hole in my life.
And it's about the lawyer that's in it called Saul Goodman, but he isn't called Saul, is he?
No, he's called Jimmy. Jimmy. Yeah.
So do you want to explain what it is, or?
Yeah, well, it's a prequel showing how Jimmy became Saul. It's leading up to the events, but there's going to be some bits set afterwards, some bits set during the events of Breaking Bad as well.
And there's some returning characters. So we got Mike, the bald guy, who I was about to spoil the show, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
So he's in it, and then Shu, the big guy who sleeps on the money, he's in it, and I think there's a few other just familiar faces popping up.
Yeah. I mean, actually, a lot of the reviews popped up has spoilers for someone that's coming back, which I'm quite excited about.
I don't know, so I've avoided it.
Goddamn reviews everywhere spoiling the show for everyone.
I think the best comparison we can have to explain what it is. Okay, so Breaking Bad was the original Star Wars trilogy.
Oh god.
And then you got the prequels. So you know the outcome.
You don't know if it's going to be bad though. It might not be that bad.
You saying Jar Jar Binks isn't coming in this?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, there'll be Jar Jar Binks showing up in it.
It's going to be a CGI Saul Goodman, CGI and everyone else.
Everything's CGI. We've gone a bit off topic, but
that's fine.
Yeah, it's looking really good. There's a lot of nice looking previews. One thing I saw a lot of people saying it for is it looks slightly different because they filmed it on all on nice 4K cameras, and people actually prefer the old look of Breaking Bad. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
Well, that will open up a whole can of worms against 4K and film and stuff. But I don't know. Well, 4K is kind of going through, and Netflix announced another tangent, but Netflix announced the 4K console apps coming end of this year. Yeah. So clearly Netflix have got the rights over here, so there's probably some decision in that.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it'll look fine.
Yeah, I mean the trailers, they still look good, but it looks a lot cleaner, and lots of people are a bit annoyed about that. I don't.
Well, it's also shot on set in Albuquerque as well.
Yeah, the settings all look great, and it all fits in nicely as well. So
isn't the series a lot longer than Breaking Bad? I think they've ordered how many? It's quite a few.
I'm not too sure off the top of my head, but yeah, there's a lot. I mean, they have a lot of trust in him already. I think they built up a lot of trust. They can do a lot more with it. I think they probably have a lot more funding, a lot more time to do more episodes.
Well, the thing that's reassuring is that the person who created the character is the showrunner on the show, not Vince Gilligan. Yeah. Like he's producing it, which is great. Executive producer, I think. Yeah. But the fact they've actually got the guy that came up with him to lead it is so reassuring, because they could have easily passed it off. Vince Gilligan had his name attached, no thing. Yeah. But it's quite nice they managed to get the original team that created him on board to the actual thing.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I mean, a lot of people will be saying, "Oh, well, his character might be a bit different," but that's sort of the point. I mean, Breaking Bad was very much the development of a character, and we've seen how Saul Goodman ends up, but we're going to be seeing him how it begun. So there's going to be quite a different person, I think, throughout. We're going to see him develop into that. So it's going to have quite a different feel watching it, but it should be a fun watch.
Do you think there's going to be a lifespan on the show, or because obviously you're working towards an end goal that we know about? Yeah. Do you reckon that one day they're going to have to go, well, we've milked it enough as we can, and we've got enough thing, but eventually he's going to have to change?
Yeah, well, it's Vince Gilligan. I reckon he's got an end point already planned out and knows how many seasons he's going to do, and it's limited to that, to be honest.
Any other spin-offs you reckon could come out of Breaking Bad, or do you reckon Saul Goodman's the only one that's interesting enough?
Better Call Saul.
Oh wow!
We need that.
That is quite. That's quite, even for me. He makes really bad puns. But joking aside, I think he was the only character they could have spun out of.
Yeah.
So if you get Jesse, but Jesse at the beginning was a pretty single character.
Jesse, I don't want to spoil anything, but you could take events after Breaking Bad with some characters. Doesn't have to be a prequel.
Oh, that is true. You could.
Yeah.
You could.
I don't want to say it like anything because it might give away who's left alive, who's not, who's.
But yeah, you could explore some of the characters.
Yeah.
That have lives after.
Just
this is literally like walking through.
Dodging.
This is literally like walking through a minefield at the moment, trying not to touch anything.
If you haven't watched Breaking Bad, it's your own fault. Sorry, didn't mean it. Don't mean to blame you.
It's a bit harsh. So, any other thoughts on Better Call Saul, or do you hope it's good?
Yeah, all I can say is we better wait and see. But the reviews are positive, and I'm excited.
Oh, one more tangent. I shouldn't say tangent, but it kind of is a tangent. The good thing is that the UK is getting it at 9 AM on Netflix.
Yeah.
I think 9 AM. It's either 7 or 9 AM. The morning after the US broadcast,
Yeah.
which is great news. Like these broadcasters are catching up so quickly. Like Top Gear is now simulcast in 20 countries.
Yeah.
So we're learning Game of Thrones. The first episode of a series is normally multicast.
Yeah.
On Sky Atlantic.
It's one of those things like Game of Thrones is the most illegally downloaded show because it's so hard to get it after it's been aired. You watch it at that time, or you have to like a lot of people. If you're watching like on demand in the UK or something, you can't. So you have to download it illegally, and they're losing so much money on that. It's just stupid. And I'm glad, even if Netflix, most people already subscribe to, it adds value to that and going to get more subscribers. They're actually making money from it.
Yeah, definitely. So it really is great to see all these simulcasts and the time between things getting released. Like it's same with cinema though.
Yeah.
Like we have The Interview, which is very close release over here. Then you have Big Hero 6, which had I think a 2-month delay between US and UK release.
And The Interview was just frustrating. Like it's released online, but you can't watch it because of where you live, because reasons. And there's always ways to get around it. They just end up losing money because of it. It's bizarre.
Yeah. So it's on a tangent again. Like with simulcast, it's becoming better with Better Call Saul. Better Call Saul.
Better.
Okay, ignore that. So our next topic is
Inside Gaming.
Inside Gaming. So they've just left a big network. Well, to explain, Machinima is a massive overarching company. They're not evil. It sounds like they're an overarching evil empire. They're quite good at it. And they've given so many people starts and stuff. Yeah. Because they were the first main network to start paying people decent amounts of money. But Inside Gaming was a branch of Machinima, and they produced their own like daily news and then GTA videos. And they were massive, getting like 500,000 views per video. Yeah. But they were salary. But they announced last Tuesday that they were leaving, and they've now left as a group, like all 8 of them. Yeah. So it could work out quite similar to what the IGN guys did, like Greg Miller and his crew, leaving and then going on Patreon. So do you reckon they're going to go for the Patreon way, or just maybe?
They're all their personalities now. Their personalities sell, and it's not the content they're producing together. It's really themselves that are worth the money. And I think if you can cut out the network, go it yourself, and keep your own audience, why wouldn't you? I think that's probably the way they'll be going.
See, the thing is, like a big point about their channel before is that they weren't going for mainly clickbaits because they were salaried. They were not reliant on like certain people. But like the moment you go to Patreon, like it's your full-time job, you are relying and you're wanting people to get on board and they add money for your videos and get on board. So it's a lot more content reliant on the audience, unlike when you're salaried and like if you put out a bad video, it's not going to affect you. But on Patreon, like if you put out a bad video, you could lose, let's say, a few hundred people, or even say the wrong thing. Like you say the wrong thing about a certain view topic, people can then literally just cancel their subscription and then just stop money. So it is quite a dangerous thing. Yes. And especially if Inside Gaming are going to go this way, because there's 7 or 8 of them. Yeah. Which is quite a big number. Yeah. Unlike Greg Miller and his crew, which only had 4.
Yeah, that's true. At least it guarantees they're going to be working hard for their content. I mean, they always have, so I don't think there's quality content that's going to go down or anything. But maybe they might not just be relying on Patreon. They might be doing ads and things or other things. Are really hard to say, but I think they're guaranteed to be making good content. I think they'll always have an audience, and once you have an audience, going in to start your own thing is a lot easier. If you're starting from nothing to try and build up an audience on YouTube, especially these days, is going to be quite a challenge. But I think they've got it behind them to be able to do it now.
Well, the nice thing to see is that with IGN, like IGN kind of supported Greg Miller and the Kind of Funny crew by doing that. It was a long-term plan. I think it was a 2 or 3 month plan, and then they still do the occasional hosting on the channel. Yeah. So that's worked out. And also Machinima have been tweeting out like the Twitters and stuff on their main account, going,
Yeah.
if you like these guys, go and follow them, so then they can tell you what they're doing.
Yeah.
So it's been quite nice to see the networks actually support these groups of people going off when they've built up who they are through the networks. So, so that's been quite nice to see.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's nice to see people collaborate like that.
So should we move topics?
Sure thing.
So life is strange, isn't it?
Life is strange. You're going to tell you some weird stuff in our lives. That's what we're going to do.
Should we?
No, we're not. We're really talking about the game Life is Strange, which is a very Telltale-esque game created by Don't Not Team, I think they're called.
From Square Enix.
Don't Not.
It's a lot easier to say.
Square Enix published it. Basically takes a lot of the ideas from Telltale games and takes the sort of genre Telltale have come up with their own style of adventure games and brings it to another story, another setting. And I believe it does it quite well.
So what's it about, like the story? Because I haven't played it, but I know you have.
Yeah. Well, the story plays into gameplay really nicely, actually. The idea is you're a girl in college who has found that she has the ability to reverse like time, but only shortly before, so she can redo her decisions and edit events after seeing them happen. She's basically seen a big tornado coming, and she doesn't really know what's going to happen. She's trying to prevent things happening. I mean, yeah, the best thing about it, I think, so far is the characters are really well developed. I mean, there's Max, who's the main character, the person you play as. It's almost hipster chick. She's a photography student who's really to herself, and I think there's something about it really effective. I mean, they developed her character so well within a few minutes, just by an opening scene where she basically just puts her headphones in, you listen to some of her music, and you walk through the school, and doing that, hearing her thoughts on things, if you decide to look at, just develops her so well within a few minutes, and I really got attached to her as a character.
So you say it's Telltale game, like are there choices and stuff? Well, it's not a Telltale game, it's Telltale-esque.
Yeah.
So are there like choices and stuff like the famous Telltale games, or?
Yeah, I mean there wasn't as much major plot point choices I found in this one. But one really interesting thing about is because you've got the reverse time thing in the story, you can also use it as a mechanic. So the idea is you can sort of see the outcome to a choice, and then decide you want the other one. So if you're the sort of person that plays Walking Dead and makes a decision like, oh god, that's horrible, you rethink it. But it's sort of bittersweet in a way, because Walking Dead's great because it gives you like a small time to make a decision, and if you make the wrong one, you're stuck with it and you feel horrible about this. But this one, you sort of think what outcome you want, so it's a bit more choosing a story rather than choosing what you think you would make as a decision because you see the outcome. And
how is it technically run? Because the Telltale games have got a reputation of not running particularly well. So is this engine any good? Or?
It's quite funny. It ran perfectly fine. And in the last 2 minutes, for some very strange reason, I was playing on PC, and the voice line started coming out of my headphones, where everything else was still coming out of my speakers. So I was hearing music out of my speakers and headphones on thingy. But I was chatting to someone on Reddit who had a similar problem. So it seems to be a bug in the last few minutes. I don't know what's happened with that.
But it's not a game spoiler bug. It's still
it's definitely playable as long as you've got a pair of headphones on as well.
Would you recommend it? Or?
Yeah, I would definitely recommend it. I mean, there's no reason not to pick up the £3.99 first episode if you're unsure on it. I mean, it's very interesting. It's about 2.5 hours of gameplay probably for that one.
And how many episodes is going to be season? Do you know yet?
There's going to be 5.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so our reviews on theanglymicrowave.com. So you can go on there and it'll be one of the big images. So you can go and read our thoughts in depth about that. Braxton did quite a nice feature piece. So you can go and watch that. So our next topic, going back to TV spin-offs.
Yeah.
See that segue?
Yeah.
So The Walking Dead, this news has kind of been floating around for about a month and a half now. Basically, it's been confirmed and they're working on a Walking Dead spin-off, but they haven't confirmed where it is. But the big rumor is it's going to be set in LA during the first few days of the outbreak. How's that sound to you off the cuff? Or?
Yeah, it would be nice to have something that's not quite so tied to the comics. I mean, obviously they've gone way tangents to the comics, and they've changed a lot off. But something completely original could be a different setting, take a different take on it. Could be a really good way to revive the series.
Yeah, and also talk of the Doctor at the end of the first series coming back, and then that all tying in with each other.
Yeah, that could be cool.
which might be quite a nice crossover in how that works.
Yeah.
It definitely would be like a lot more high budget, I reckon. For a spin-off, it's got to be quite high budget. To first of all, set it in LA is quite a big task, so I presume they'll be filming out of town.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of money to film in LA. But then obviously there's going to be more like transformations in front of you, more chaos. It seems it'll be your more AAA kind of program with like explosions, stuff going down, and more about like decisions. Like The Walking Dead, you see quite thought out decisions and like where should we go, how should we barricade and stuff. And like this would be, how do I get out of here? Do I get out of here? What's happening?
Yeah.
Because at this point they don't know. But it's a very nice gap to go into. Because obviously with the original program, like how many weeks is it between when he goes to sleep? I think it's like it's a month or it's quite a long time. Like you don't see. So in fairness, it's quite a nice spin-off rather than doing one on Daryl.
Yeah.
He goes his own way, because that would have seemed like the show was split in two. Yeah. Unlike this, which is filling it's a kind of need for the show, rather than just like doing it for money.
Yeah, I personally found Walking Dead, it has a lot of problems. It's okay to watch, but I kind of want to see an end for it. I want to see it develop into something, because the thing is with zombie survival things, a TV show like this, you can't end it in a satisfying way, and you can't really work towards a conclusion. They just have to keep changing the characters up and things. This would be a chance to really just take what worked and come up with something completely different based on what worked with Walking Dead, and kind of cut out some of the stuff that's not as popular.
Yeah, see, like the problem I have with this is it's the same problem as Better Call Saul. You know there's an end goal.
Yeah.
So when they reach the point that basically the show started, and like it's gonna be different characters when they get out of the city and stuff. Is it going to be Walking Dead with different characters the same as them?
Yeah.
Because it's got like a half-life on it already.
Yeah. Before
it's even started.
Yeah, I found a lot of people to find there to be a lot of just a bit of a slog through Walking Dead at points. There's a lot of like great episodes. A lot of people find the bits in between. There's a lot of just really slow episodes. I think if there's another whole set of episodes to watch that are like that, people will be put off watching it.
Yeah, so on another segue onto the Dead Rising movie that's coming out. Have you heard about this?
I had no idea this was a thing.
Okay, well, it's a bit of a weird one. Yeah. They're making a Dead Rising movie with one of the guys from Saturday Night Live. I can't remember his name, but I put a picture there, and you'll recognise him. He's one of those characters who jumps and everything. Like he's in Jump Street. Have you seen 20 Jump Street?
Yeah, brilliant film.
Do you know the guy that has a certain body part dismembered at the end of the film?
Yeah.
It's not really a spin-off.
Yeah.
No, spoiler.
Yeah.
But it's basically him, and he pops up in loads of films.
Yeah.
But the weird thing is, it's going, and the weird and worrying thing, it's going on Crackle, which is free.
Right. There's this thing like, there's not really much in the Dead Rising universe that just makes it really distinct from any other zombie universe. Apart from maybe like the Zombrex and...
No, he has a camera.
Oh, and he has a camera.
Because it's based on John... I'm not going to quote his last name.
Yeah.
But, so it's based on the main character from the first game, and then the second spin-off of the second game.
What? Oh,
Dead Rising 2 off the record.
Yeah.
So it's him, it's based on him, and obviously it's a different universe to the games.
Yeah.
But it just seems quite worrying that it's on a free service. Like if Netflix pumps money into it, if Amazon pumps money into it, I would have been fine. Well, maybe not Amazon, because Zombieland was a mess. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So like, if there was lots of money being pushed into it, I'd be fine.
Yeah.
But Crackle service isn't really.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to get budgets to do the big things. I mean, in Dead Rising, there's a lot of zombies on the screen at once, and that sort of a thing. There's big hordes. I don't know how they're going to afford to do that kind of thing with on a free service. It'll be interesting to see. So
that comes out very soon.
Yeah.
So for our penultimate topic, Dying Light came out last week, and our review will be up when you're listening to this. So you haven't played it, have you?
Yeah, I haven't had the chance to play it yet. It's something I was looking at, but I think I was sort of put off by the fact there was no reviews on launch. Kind of put me off and didn't make me want to decide to pick it up yet.
Yeah, that was a bit weird. Like all review codes for the EU. Yeah. For PlayStation, they were delayed due to a technical fault.
Yeah. So
we only got them a day after. We got it a day after release.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to say, it's rather good.
Yeah, that's good too.
It was a big shock because for a game to be pushed back, and to be released in January.
Yeah.
Well, I'm February over here.
Yeah.
I'll talk more about that in a minute. But it's really good. It's surprisingly good. It's very polished.
Yeah.
Which is nice to see, because the problem with Dead Island that I had before, because it's the same developers, Techland, who are based in Poland.
Yeah.
Was the fact it never really ran smoothly on consoles.
No.
The frame rate was always dipped a bit, and it really didn't feel fluid. But it flows really well. The loot system is very good. Like again, in Dead Island, you used to go around and like if you're OCD with me about loot, it would open up everything.
Yeah.
But it's so nice in this that there's not about 1,000 suitcases on the floor that you have to go around and open.
Yeah.
You literally just search for zombies you kill.
Yeah.
And then when you go into the house, there'll be maybe 2 drawers you can open.
Yeah.
And also the thing about this, unlike Dead Island, is literally you're scared of the zombies.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to fight with zombies, and you don't feel powerful at the beginning, which is something that zombie games haven't really got into.
No.
Like you're not really afraid of the zombies and not wanting to go near them.
Cannon fodder and used for sort of arcadey action. But you say a Techland game that's polished, that is surprising to me, because I played through the PC version of Dead Island. I'm not even kidding, one of the cutscenes didn't have a skybox. It was just black. They've got to put the sky in for a cutscene. That's for the point where I just put it down and said nope. So an actual polished Techland game sounds interesting.
But when we spoke to the lead game designer, the interview will be down here or down that corner at EGX last year. Yeah. One of the things that they made a point of saying is that they recognise the mistakes they made in Dead Island.
Yeah.
And they've worked on it, which is so nice to see a developer fully realising the mistakes they made and how they improved it. Yeah. Because bearing in mind it's been about 4 years now, 4 or 5 years, they've actually had time to go away, split off from their previous publisher, and then put out a new game, improving everything they learned about the game. Yeah. Which so many studios don't do that. Like you have Activision and their studios, because of the rush timetable, they don't have time to look back on the mistakes until maybe 3-4 games down the line. So
they had time to sit in the corner and think about what they did.
Yeah, literally, must have gone to the drawing board and wrote, we're not doing this, but we are doing that. And it's just such a nice thing. The only problem is matchmaking on PlayStation at the moment is a bit iffy for the multiplayer.
Yeah. One problem I found with Dead Island is it was so weird with the tone of it. They tried to be serious and have problems. You can't make a multiplayer zombie RPG and then have serious emotional elements. I mean, it was marketed as the first trailer. Everyone's is famous for just not being anything like the game, and it was fun, and they could have advertised it on the fact it was fun, but they didn't. And I'm wondering if Dying Light has the same issues. If you find.
Well, Dying Light's got a serious tone, and I think the trailers have shown that. But even with Dead Island 3, which is now a franchise, and the previous developers aren't developing it, but
Dead Island 2. There was Dead Island Riptide was the second one. That was Dead Island 2.
No, but there's Dead Island 3 coming out. It was announced at E3 last year.
No, that was Dead Island 2.
Oh, it was Dead Island 2?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, my bad. It's Dead Island 2, but the third game of a series.
Yeah.
The trailer that comes out seems to be quite silly and upbeat. Like 2 random guys in a van just driving around killing zombies. It's really nice to have those 2 contrasting games which have the same premise.
Yeah, that's it.
So we're going to Dead Island 3, which is where you go over the top with your crazy weapons.
Dead Island 2.
Dead Island 2 going around and killing zombies in the crazy ways. Yeah. And then you have Dying where you're afraid of zombies and you don't want to be out. But also the crafting system's nice and simple. Yeah. And then the upgrading's really nice. You have 3 categories and then you earn upgrades in each individual one. Yeah. So it's for agility, for example, you level up as you're doing more running. Yeah. I mean, just pick your branch, but it's just so nice and simple that you've got 3 choices. Yeah. To raise your level in, and then you can pick your one. That's really nice.
Yeah. But do you find did you get to ask for a chance to play multiplayer?
I only a bit, but matchmaking was very.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Yeah, but I imagine if you play it with friends, it'll feel a lot less serious, and that's my problem with Dead Island 1. But we can't really comment on that if we haven't tried it.
But that happens with every co-op game, though.
Yeah.
But it's
why I'm excited for Dead Island 2. Actually, it just seems a lot more upbeat and a lot more laugh. And Jaeger are experts at being quite self-aware. I mean, if you played Spec Ops, you know what I mean. So that should be good.
Then obviously you've got the the Be a Zombie mode, which is basically turned from Call of Duty Zombies,
Yeah.
where you become the zombie, and it feels very much like that. So if you're a fan of that mode in Black Ops 2, this is virtually a clone of that, and that's probably the only clone in the game.
Yeah.
But that's free DLC now. But the one thing we need to talk about is the fact that it's not physically released in the UK till February the 27th, I think.
Yeah, it's a horrible mess. I mean, it's so expensive on download on consoles at the moment as well. I think
£55.
Isn't it the only limited edition you can get for £55? Just so if anyone's not in the UK, games normally release a sort of 45. 40, depends on what edition, but
it's mainly around 40.
Yeah, 40 to 45, but it's quite expensive to pick up on download. I mean,
so you're now paying £15 extra to get a digital version that you can't trade in if you don't like it.
But I mean, if they had done it cheaper, if they had done it for the same price as thingy, then it would have had a huge knock-on effect with the way people bought games. They would have tried it for the first time at downloading the game, realised it was really convenient, and kept doing it that way. It could have had big knock-on effects.
Well, could have been like the interview with On Demand, but making the best of a bad situation.
Yeah.
And then offering it as a decent price for to rent it, and then you go, oh, that was easy.
Yeah.
But paying £15 something extra that has no physical value to maybe trading if you want to down the line, which is a big thing over here.
Yeah.
Like a CX, which is based off trading in games. So it's just a shame they didn't take it by its horns and $39.99.
Yeah, if they did it slightly cheaper on digital, I think a lot of people would have been less annoyed. But it's kind of split the community in two, because some people download it, some people play online. I think if you haven't got your fans to go with it, it's going to be hard to find people and things to play with as well.
Well, the big
especially with the broken matchmaking.
The big problem is that games go off hype.
Yeah.
And the marketing budget, Dying Light already had its marketing a bit everywhere, from aiming to release in November to now coming out in January and February. So it's going to be a month difference. So is that going to cost them more in marketing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was probably planned out to build up the hype just before launch, and with the staggered launch, that's probably been hard to maintain. Especially with, saying that, there's not much coming out at the beginning of this year.
They were
the easiest to maintain.
They were quite it wasn't in luck, but they built a really decent game. We're just getting decent reviews, so that's what we go work in their favour, knowing that it's a 4-star game or 8 out of 10 game, rather than the launch that we had over here, where reviews weren't coming out for 4 or 5 days after till the game was finished. But
yeah. I mean, I was complaining about reviews earlier, but the vast majority of people that probably wait for the retail release, it won't affect really. Or that wasn't anyone passing. That was the pass outside. Please just ignore that. But I think the vast majority of people are waiting as well. But on PC, where it's download only, I mean, people are outplaying it, so it's really split into. It's been a bit of a strange launch.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see the figures, because maybe it will sell massive numbers on the PSN store.
Yeah.
And people don't mind paying the extra £15.
Yeah.
But it will be interesting to see how that does affect.
Yeah.
The thing in the UK.
Yeah. Well, it's not just the extra £15 for it, because you do get this limited edition content, but it's still more expensive than most people would be willing to pay at the moment.
Well, the even more interesting thing is that the charts don't include digital downloads.
Oh, right.
So it'll be really interesting to see how high it does when it physically releases.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so on to our final topic. We've launched on Patreon.
Hooray!
Yay! So exciting. Joking aside, if you Patreon it, you can basically donate a certain amount of money per month, $1 or $2 or £1 or $2. Makes a big difference. You can get the podcast a day early. We can make a video talking about you for a certain amount. So it's and t-shirts and stuff. So if you go on there, it's patreon.com/theangrymicrowave. It'll be down at the bottom, or it'll be in the description if you're listening to it. But the reason why we're doing this is that we have so many spin-off shows and features that we want to do. One of them will be going to where movies from Shaun of the Dead and seeing how that looks now, and 28 Days Later, and it's going to be other things like that.
Yeah.
So if you can spare $1, £1 or $2, just go to patreon.com/angrymicrowave and just donate.
Yeah.
£1 or $2.
Yeah, I mean, but it's all run by very young people who need your money.
But yeah, joking aside, it means we can go to London and do more press junkets and interview people and just stuff like that. So literally £1 or $2 or $1 or $2 makes such a big difference. So if you can, please, and also it's through PayPal and it won't be charged till the beginning of each month. So you have time to think if the content's worth it or not.
Yeah. It gives you. It's basically, if you have any enjoyment watching it, then please consider it.
And so every week we round off by recommending something. Have we got a title for this? Or I don't think we have, we?
No.
So
every week for the last 2 weeks that we've done podcasts.
Okay, so next week we'll have a name for this. So basically, we recommend something for you to go and do over the weekend. So what's yours?
Oh, I'm going to recommend a game, Bayonetta 1 and 2. I've played them both through as thingy. I mean, a lot of people don't have a Wii U. It's probably not going to be recommended to many of you that actually already own a Wii U and don't own it. But if you do own a Wii U and don't own it, it's worth a playthrough. I mean, everything Platinum's made is just filled with joy. It's hilarious. I don't know if it's intentionally hilarious, but it is hilarious. And if you haven't got a Wii U, try Metal Gear Rising as well on PC or Xbox.
Cool. So I've got this new and up and coming game. It's quite good. It's called Monopoly. For the audio listeners, Andy's just basically put his head down in
You
the
could
chair.
just say face palmed.
No, I don't have a extreme reaction. So Monopoly's a good game. I think it's going to do well.
Right.
And it's also its 80th anniversary. It's around there. It's pretty good on a tangent.
It's some kind of anniversary this year for it.
Yeah, but it's so cool in France what they're doing. It's got limited edition versions,
Yeah.
and they're replacing the Monopoly money with real money inside the box.
What?
Yeah, it's an actual thing. It's 100%. It's a thing.
Wow.
I think it's like 20,000 euros they put, and then like a few hundred and other things. But they've literally just
crazy.
replaced the money with Monopoly money with real money.
That's weird.
So yeah, go and play Monopoly with your family or friends, or family and friends or pets. So that's it for this week's podcast. Thanks for joining us. If you can support us on Patreon, £1 or £2 makes a difference. Patreon.com/langlymicrowave, all through PayPal. Nothing dodgy. And next week, join us same place, same time, wherever that may be. iTunes, YouTube, Patreon, and you get it a day early. If not, it comes out on a Friday. And that's it. Bye.
Bye.